Representative Jim Clyburn said he would support Vice President Kamala Harris taking over the top spot on the ticket if President Biden ain't there. I'm a Biden Harris person, so I'm not getting away from that. I'm for Biden Harris. I'm going to be for Biden if Harris ain't there, and I'm going to be for Harris if Biden ain't there, Clyburn told USA Today, an article published Friday. Still, Clyburn, who is widely viewed as responsible for Biden's primary victory in South Carolina, which propelled him to the presidential nomination in 2020, told both The Hill and USA Today that Democrats should stay the course and chill out, even as calls for Harris to replace Biden as presumptive Democratic presidential nominee persist. The South Carolina Democrat considered the president had a poor performance during Thursday's debate, but if it had been a game of baseball, the president would get two more swings, he added. Biden's shaky debate performance caused panic among Democrats and promoted calls for him to step aside to so someone else could take on former President Trump in November. Reading this with my glasses off. Harris defended Biden's performance during a CNN interview directly after the debate. She admitted that the president had a slow start, but it was a strong finish. She attempted to contrast Biden's lackluster stage presence with Trump's stance on issues that matter to the American people. Asked Friday if there would be a better Democrat to communicate the party's message, Clyburn said no, there is no better Democrat. Clyburn, who had spent more than 2 decades in House Democratic leadership, has been a close ally of Biden for years. When Clyburn endorsed Biden in 2020 Democratic primary, it served as a turning point for Biden's campaign and put him on a track for the White House. This is interesting because you know that Biden's debate performance was so bad that major Democrats, establishment Democrats, people who have been in this man's ear for the entire time he's been president, going even further back to when he was vice president and senator, are now admitting that, yeah, a lot of people want him gone. They want him replaced. They don't think he can hold out until November and defeat Trump performing the way that he did. And I was actually thinking of also doing a video on Harris's horrible CNN interview. I don't know if I'll still do it because I got to get space on my computer with just the way things have been for the last few days. But really what this comes down to is that Clyburn is, just like many of the other Democrats, trying to redirect this to Biden's record. Oh, look at what he's done for the economy. It's like, yeah, but guys, you live in a visual medium. You can't dispute the fact that when he comes up there and talks about jobs and also mentions that Trump said this, it doesn't make him look good. It doesn't. You know, live in reality. Live in the actual version of what we saw just a few days ago. That had people scratching their heads and going, "That's the person that's going to be president for another 4 years after this one." The one who we can barely understand from his decrepit voice. He said there are no better Democrats. I guarantee you, whether it had been Harris, Whitmer, the other fool from my state, Newsom, I can guarantee you, any one of those Democrats would have given a better debate performance against Trump than Biden did. The reality is most of the people that could theoretically replace him just do not have the same issues that he does. Now, Harris's biggest issue is that she's not well liked, and I have been sympathetic to her because I do think Biden gave her things that she really could do nothing about. But I guarantee you this: if she did a debate with Trump, you're not going to see her have the decrepit, dying voice, and you're not going to see really any of the slow responses. Harris, again, has a lot of problems in terms of attracting people to support her, and we can obviously talk about how she would fare against Trump in the general election, which is the main reason that Democrats are afraid to replace her with replace Biden with her. But my point stands that I'm thoroughly convinced she would have given a better debate performance than whatever that was Thursday night. And look at Clyburn. Okay, I get it. You are going to go down in history as the Democrat who did the most to get Biden to become president because of your endorsement in South Carolina, even though I already said before, I think Sanders would have lost that state anyway, and then Biden could have used the momentum. Okay, whatever. this is like his claim to fame, right? The 2020 Democratic South Carolina victory. But you don't think it's sad that you give this interview and you're like, I'm for Harris and Biden, even if they're separate from each other? Well, then you're not really for Biden Harris, because Biden Harris is Biden Harris. If you take one component off of it, it becomes something else. Um, but besides that, it's like, you're really going to make this stupid baseball analogy two swings? I'm sure we're going to have another presidential debate before the primary is over, but if the same team is advising Biden that advised him to go on stage and perform the way he did a few nights ago, you're not exactly going to be able to move the needle too much. See, I remember when we had the final debate of the Democratic primary was Biden versus Bernie. And a lot of us who were Sanders supporters were excited, like, oh man, Biden's going to get on stage and barely be able to talk. But to our surprise, he actually spoke coherently. And it just seems like over the last 3 to 4 years, the deterioration that was already there when he was running in 2020 just keeps seeping and seeping. And I really despise the fact that, like, this is the person Democrats feel the most comfortable with running again. Like, it's sad that they picked this dithering man that is getting more and more sick in front of us to just keep promoting, because they despise Trump so much and don't want to run the risk of one of the other lesser known, but I'm sure of much sounder mind Democrats being able to compete. It's a really horrible state of affairs.